Good morning. It's Mitch Beinhacker, and I guess we're live on Facebook. Today's legal update, really more of a legal commentary this morning. I'll take about anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes of your time. But I was having a conversation the other day with somebody about what's going to happen to a lot of the local businesses, restaurants, service businesses like salons, nail salons, retail stores that don't necessarily do a lot of online business. Maybe they'll have to start. But we started discussing the issue of private equity. Now, the average person, a lot of people think about raising money for a business. They think about tech startups, perhaps, raising money from angel investors. Often a lot of these businesses get started with investments from friends and family. Then maybe they go to angel investors and they go to another seed round and they start raising money from venture capitalists. And you hear about these tech startup companies that raise millions and millions of dollars. But what a lot of people don't think about, and maybe this is a good time to think about it, is the opportunity to invest in good small local businesses. And I think coming out of this whole pandemic situation, there are going to be a lot of businesses that struggle because they weren't in the position to take 2 months off of their business and completely shut down their operation. Restaurants are a good example. Even the ones that are doing delivery and pickup and things like that, it's not enough to sustain their business. But I think for people that have money that may not have thought about it before, there will be a lot of opportunities, and the business owners probably aren't thinking about it either, which is why I'm bringing this up today, to invest in small local businesses. So, you may have a friend who's got a very good restaurant, and before this whole thing, it was very busy, and he was earning a decent living and there was a good return on the money, and he may not have the opportunity to borrow enough money to keep his business going. Maybe some of these loans, he's picked up some money, but for the most part, he may have not thought about it, and you may have not thought about it. Maybe it's a good time to invest in local businesses. You become a 30% partner or a 50% partner, and you put up money for the business, and maybe you'll make 10, 15, maybe in some cases 20% return on your money with a plan to be bought out over time, and you've helped him and you've made some money yourself, and the economy keeps going. So I'm hoping that there will be people who are in the position to do that. I put these deals together all the time for clients, and also in the construction business. Maybe there's local construction people that are looking to raise capital because a lot of their monies are tied up in the projects that they're working on. Those projects have come to a halt, and they're trying to figure out what to do, but they've never really approached friends and family, and maybe they should start thinking about it, to offer them a return on their money and to do some deals together. But these deals should all be structured, and they can be structured to benefit and protect both parties. Don't do things on a handshake. It should be done in writing, under an agreement, arm's length, where you agree to, how much money you're putting in, what you get for that, what the return is. Well, what if there's, in the construction business, for example, what if there's a loss on the deal? What happens with the loss, and who gets their money back? Maybe you get your money back first, and so forth. But I think that for people that still have money coming out of this pandemic, maybe in their retirement account or securities investments or so forth, and they're looking to diversify and they're looking to help the local economy, this may be a very good opportunity to think about that. So how are these deals structured? Now, they could be structured as debt, meaning you're loaning money to the local business for a return. They could be collateralized because maybe the business owner has a home, for example, but it's not liquid and they can't go to a bank, but there's some equity in there. They can put it up as collateral to just give you a little bit extra security. It could be debt that, a loan that converts to ownership in the business over time. It could be ownership in the business that has a buyout provision where in 5 to 7 years, the person who owns the business starts to buy you out as they're getting back on their feet at a return, and you get return on your money that way. If you're doing debt from a loan standpoint, you can also structure it where, maybe it's a 30-year payout because the person can't pay you over 5 or 7 years, but it has a 5-year balloon. And what a balloon is, it's a provision in the loan agreement that basically calls in the loan after 5 years. So after 5 years, you have to either pay it off or get additional financing. And at that point, the economy's better, your business is growing and thriving, probably could get better financing commercially and buy out your friend, and you both helped each other. So your friends made some money, your business got back on its feet, and you helped the local economy. So definitely something to think about. If you are the business owner, you may want to talk to friends. You may want to put it out there that, because I see articles all the time about being spotlighting different local businesses that, although they had a thriving business, they weren't in the position to close their business for 2 months. Even if they own the building that they're in. So maybe they're not getting rent from their other tenants. They've had to lay off their employees and, their wait staff and the bartenders and things like that. So I think during the pandemic and everything that's going on with coronavirus, we have to become creative to think about how do we get out of this and how do we work out of this. If things aren't, you're not going to turn a light switch and business will just come back. You're going to, the restaurant business, the salon business, hair salons, nail salons, maybe retail also, there's going to be a social distancing requirement where in a restaurant, you can't be sitting next to another table. So they're going to have less tables in their restaurant. There'll be less wait staff and they're going to order less food and there's going to be a ripple effect. So they're going to need to get back on their feet. It's not going to be enough. These government programs are not going to be enough. We're not going to be able to rely on the government to keep us going for months and months and months. They're just printing money, which is going to have a negative impact on all of us financially and economically as well. So my conversation with a colleague of mine got into, well, it's a shame because in the startup business, you normally, you write a business plan and you start developing your product and your idea and you proof your concept, and now you make a pitch deck, like a PowerPoint presentation, and you go to investors. Often I encourage small business owners to start with friends and family, but to, if you have to raise 250, 500,000, $1 million, couple of $1 million to start to develop your product and go to market, that's a different marketplace where a lot of these startups go to angel investor conferences and venture capital conferences, and they're out there, pitching their idea, trying to raise money from investor to investor that they go to. But those investors aren't usually looking at local small businesses. They're not looking at restaurants or retail stores or nail salons or local gyms, fitness centers, not necessarily the chains, but the ones that are personal training and local things. They're going to really have a lot of difficulty coming out of this because we know it's not going to turn on like a light switch. It's going to be slow and it's going to be difficult. And it's not just going to be difficult from a standpoint of, necessarily not being able to open, right? Because they extend things, which will cause another problem. If we go to the middle of May and they said, listen, we really got to go out to the middle of June, late June, you're going to have more problems. But even if you're allowed to open slowly, you're not going to be able to go to full capacity. So something to think about today as we go through this, lining up your ducks, trying to get a hold of government money, trying to find support to keep your business going or to pay your employees or to maybe furlough some of your employees and put them on unemployment and look to a brighter future. So there is money out there. There are people that have money, but sometimes it's not the same person that had the business because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. They're not in a position to say, hey, I'll take a 2-month vacation. Most of us cannot do that. So I bring this up because probably most of the business owners and most local people haven't invested in a business before, don't even know where to start. I'm certainly available for a conversation if you're interested in having a conversation. You have a friend who's got a business, you've talked about it, and you want to see how you can put something together that'll help the two of you. Definitely give it a thought, and I'm available for free phone calls, free Zoom calls, just to have a basic conversation about it. So I'm Mitch Beinhacker. I'm a business attorney in Clark, New Jersey. I live in Westfield. And you can hear, if you want to listen to my talks with business owners and influencers, you can listen to my podcast, The Accidental Entrepreneur. It's available on Apple Podcasts and Google Play and Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn, which is Alexa. So you can get my episodes there. I hope you subscribe. If you ever have any questions, you can always email me through my website, beinhackerlaw.com. And I am working. I'm available for business work. I'm available for estates and trusts, family business planning, available to do Zoom calls for agencies and for financial firms if you would like. Talk about any tax planning topics. And we will reach back out to you on Thursday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And thanks for listening.